Perfect. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Mission Driven Life podcast. This is episode 222 of the Warrior Leadership Driven Life podcast. I'm super glad that I can be here today because, look, every day of the week, I get to be here and I get to sit with leaders that are in their mission. Now, a couple of days ago, like on the first podcast that I did of the month, I had my one friend. His name is Randy Marks from the MKP Mission Circle. And I sit in I group and in a men's group where I get a chance to come and just to share about me and to express me and just to show with me. And I get a chance to, be around other good men, just like Neil. Now, maybe some of you recognize Neil. Maybe
Thanks,
some
Kevin.
of you guys know him. He is a really well-known author. He has written many books. He's really passionate about writing books. And this man is coming with you here today because he wants to talk to you about how to get your mission out into the world with a book. So please help me welcome Neil. Welcome.
Thanks, Kevin. And I want to throw some kudos back to you. Episode 222, that takes a lot of dedication. So congratulations and kudos to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Take some commitment.
So it does. And I'm sensing we've got a little bit of lag here, but we'll get past that. So we're talking about getting your mission out with a book. And if you know Kevin is all about mission. So let's take Kevin's passion for getting people on their mission and getting it into a book. And many people in the publishing world say that many authors and many speakers, many facilitators, there's this genre of books. Oh crap, all of a sudden I lost the term that I was using. But it's a vanity book. And they use it as a lost leader. And and take away any negative connotations to this. A book is a beautiful way to set yourself as an expert. So in Kevin's case, Kevin comes from, for what many people would consider a rough start to his leadership, that he's had to work at proving his leadership skills because he's come from a gang background where it's your might and not your thought and not your heart that counts. So Kevin's had to learn to rewrite and revision and rebuild his life. And to me, that's a beautiful way or an example to a story that people want to know about. So what would Kevin, so I'm going to just make this up as we go. So if Kevin was to write this story, and we're jumping in and we're going to give you lots of content. So if Kevin was to write this story without making it so astronomical that no one else could do this, there's some cheats. You make it no longer than 10 chapters and you write 8 to 10 pages per chapter. And even if you're not a writer, most people in a couple sittings can write at least 8 to 10 pages for a chapter. Kevin, let me ask you this. Can you write 8 to 10 pages for a chapter?
Yeah, I could.
Okay. And so then
over how long though? Like within one day?
I'm not saying anything. Most people, given enough time, like if I said, Kevin, could you write 80 to 100 pages in 6 months? Could you do it?
Yeah, I'd have to commit to that. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so, and that's the kind of commitment that we're looking like. Some people could just sit down and bang it out in a weekend. others would need a lot longer. So writing a book is actually the very easy part. What I just explained to you, 80 to 100 pages, most people can do right off the cuff. Making it interesting and making it relevant to your readers is a little more difficult. And that's where you need to go and call on your tribe. Building your tribe to find good quality editors and people you trust to give you 360 feedback on what you've written. Like, I'm just making this easy without throwing a whole lot of dollars to it. So Kevin would take his 80 to 100 pages and send it out to some thought leaders that he truly trusted in their opinions, and he knew that they actually read books, because some people don't read books, so it doesn't make any, it's not very good. So he'd send it out to these people, and then he would listen to their feedback. Whether he took any heed to their feedback, you need to listen to your feedback and
Right.
then do appropriately. Once you have it written, self-publishing for your first book, your vanity book, unless you've got such a concept that publishers are going to be banging down the door, self-publishing is the fastest and easiest way that I know of a person can go route. And it's as simple as going on to kdp.amazon.com and creating your own account. You upload your Word document, your text document, and follow their procedure, and KDP or the Amazon will help you format the book, will help you publish it.
Now, should someone like
Any
this
questions
is
so
all
far?
great knowledge. Yeah, tons of them. I actually have a huge question, like, because some people are curious, like, should I promote it before I write it, or should I promote it after? Like, what do you think?
As you're writing it, before you're writing it, during you're writing it, and after, and like, you can never get too much promotion, because the hardest part in all of this is getting people to actually buy it. So by promoting, you create an interest and you create people a desire for them to want to know more about your book, and they're more likely to purchase it.
Wow, super cool. That
Any
is,
other question?
yeah, it is. It's like, okay, so tell us more about your journey and your mission. Like, so before we jump into books and like the mechanics, I just want people to understand you. I want our audience to kind of understand you and kind of like why they should listen to you first, right? Why would they listen to you? And I think as we get there, they'll understand, oh wow, Neil is an expert in this, right? So like, I know you've wrote in so many books. You have like 5 or 6 books under your table, and I know it probably comes with behind a reason and a why. What is your mission in life right now?
My mission, as Kevin alluded to, or outright said, that we both belong to a group called the Mankind Project, and as such, we've gone through a process to come up with a mission statement. And my mission statement is I create a world of heart-based connections by living and teaching the Xin Dao. And the Xin Dao is a personal belief and a personal philosophy that I follow. Xin being the heart, and Dao, the way. So it's the way of the heart. So everything I do is heart-based. Well, that's my ego talking. Everything I do is heart-based. But what I'm endeavoring to do is really follow my heart. And my books were born out of a passion for writing and a dream. I had this reoccurring dream, and I couldn't shake it till I realized I needed to write it. I needed to share this with the world. And as luck has it, I was blessed. My first book was an international Amazon bestseller, and I got some wonderful reviews. This is my beautiful book. And I
Nice.
had a tribe, which was a tribe promoting my book. And that's because I promoted it while I was writing it, and I was asking people. My tribe that helped formulate it, because it went through a first draft, and the first draft I was told was really good, but it needed some work. So I took their suggestions and reworked it, and I was blessed to have it a much better book because I listened to what my reading committee had told me.
Oh, sweet. So it sounds like you brought it to like a tribe, your warrior tribe, and then they read your book, gave you feedback on it, on the
Yes,
book.
yes. And
Wow. Like so that's a pretty, this is
sorry,
before you sold and published it, right? This is before you published it? Or
yes. So this was all like I wrote it, and then I want some criticism and critiquing and help to make my book better. So I asked my tribe to, I think I sent it out to 10 people to give me feedback, and then they sent me their feedback. I physically sent them like 100 pages of printed paper, and they wrote what they thought and how it could be better. They didn't pay attention to spelling and grammar, just the story. So once the story was nailed down, then I personally hired an editor, but that's not for everyone.
wow. Because I want to write a book. My goal is to write 100 books on leadership, and I haven't. I've written one or two. I've written one, but actually, yeah. Now for like, let's say for beginners, right? If we're a young person, a young
Yep.
entrepreneur, and we want to start a book, what would that one thing that we need to get started first with? If we wanted that one thing.
The negative self belief that you have nothing worthy to say.
Oh,
The second thing you need to do is just sit down and type.
wow. That's pretty powerful. I had that once. Sometimes I do have that, actually. Sometimes I think that even comes up in my words and like what I talk about. That's very valuable. That's a good one.
It's like like you are younger than me, and in many situations, you can still teach the old dog new tricks. Because in some ways, my mind is far more set in its ways than yours. So you have the opportunity of a malleable mind to think it in a different way than I do. And that's in itself beautiful.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be
So
honest. That's a good point. What?
every young person has something of value to share, even if it's just their observation, but it's how you formulate and share your observations, which makes for a great book.
Hmm. What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
How each of us can view and motivate well, inspire, we can't really motivate anybody. We can inspire another is is different. You can inspire closer to your age demographics by your actions, your words, and because of your languaging, your nomenclature, you know the words that your demographic, your age group is using. I'm a little separated from the right ways to what your age group would use. But leadership fundamentally is still leadership.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There is that leadership is that. Yeah, it's still leadership at the end of the day. It's just from a different point of view. You know?
You know,
Yeah,
and
that is super cool.
it still it still requires us to do all the same things. To be a leader, we still need to be seen as motivating, as inspiring, as taking action,
Yeah.
thoughtful, compassionate, and yet sometimes firm, and of course driven to go and get this done, to do these things. We need a focus, we need a passion to do it.
Hmm. Now, if like, would you recommend we start with our own story, or like, let's say a storybook, Chris, like a coloring book, like, you know what I mean? Where should we start? What kind of book should like a young person like me we could start if we wanted to? I'm sure people want to know.
The there's so many different things because every person is different and what they bring to it. If you are creative and artistic, so why not bring a comic book, a coloring book, a Mandela book? If you are in, as I said, in your case, you come from a different background from me. I've never been to jail um, unwillingly. I went to jail for a program, but I've never been incarcerated. So you have an opportunity to share what it took you from to go from streetwise to actually wanting to make a difference in people's lives to leading. So if you, in this, just
Yeah.
using you as an example, I would be writing your story on how you had a wake up call somewhere in your life, took you off the street. Some incident, some thing happened for you to choose to change your life and make the story about that and moving you on.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. Because like I know for me, that's a really touching story. Like I share it a little bit, and I don't go into details of like my life and gang life too much, only with certain people, right? But I know like that kind of stuff is what like gets people interested. People love that kind of danger. I think.
And yes, but also because this is your how you've changed and how you've gone from the badass, the bad apple, to this loving, heart open, compassionate person. And yes, you can bring the badass up to defend when you need to, but it is that
Yeah.
transformation that inspires, that honesty, that integrity that you've stuck with it because you could have left, you could have rolled back at any time.
Yeah, you're good. That's a good point. And I am actually. I'm actually gonna be.
It's like, what?
I'm gonna roll back into gang life. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Yeah. But see, I have a friend. His name is Reverend Doug Craig, who 20 years ago was headed to jail. He was, because he was in a gang, he was doing drugs, and he would regularly beat people up for drugs and money just because he's a huge bear of a man. He could do this. And then one day, and it's his story, so I don't want to give it away, but it's his story. Basically, God, the universe, talked to him and said, you're going to be a minister. And he's one day he's a gang member, and the very next day he's like, I don't know how to be a minister, but this voice told me to be a minister, so I'm going to be it. And it's when
Yeah.
he tells this story of his profound change is when people are hooked in.
Yeah. That is a fair point. I know sharing a story can be great. Sometimes people, I don't know, I get this story that people don't care about the story only if it applies to them, right? I don't know, that's my guess. Like, do you care about everyone's story? Do you?
It, like, yes, but no, I understand. But if you're telling me how you use leadership to go from gang life to leading people to make them better, to inspiring people, that's how you weave it together. But if you're just sitting around with coffee and trying to, cheap office, cheap parlor tricks, then maybe because I'm interested in who and I care about you. But from a place of writing your book and then tying in chapters that at some point in time I had to learn to do X, and then the story, and then I
Yeah.
had to learn resilience, and then I had to learn, and then I had to learn, and then I recognized it was easy to go back, and so it's how you weave what you've learned as a leader into it. Because if you were to
Right.
talk uh, on TEDx, have you created a multi-billion or $1 million company yet? No. Are you working towards it? Yes. So your interest story is about how I gave up this.
Um, really? Okay. So that kind of story where it's like relatable to the audience. That's what you mean, relatable.
Yes,
Yeah, they want that
absolutely.
relatable. That's really cool. And I see all these
Yep.
coaches, they have published books, and I really admire them, especially there's something strong that feels about a book, right? Like I bought a book today actually. I just bought this from Chapters. It's called The One Thing. It's really good. And
Yep.
it was really cool. It's like I was actually sitting inside start the Chapters. I was like, should I buy this book? I was like thinking scarcity mindset, like from scarcity and stuff. But I'm like, yo, you know what?
Yeah.
If I buy this book, I know even though it's kind of like expensive, it's worth it because I'm supporting another author and I want someone to do the same for me, right? So
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. What do you think about like tools? Should I be using Google Docs or like how should I be writing? What do you think you should suggest like apps, software?
Whatever you are comfortable and you normally use to write, because anything else having to go and learn something is a distraction. So if you write in Google Docs, write in Google Docs. If you write in Word, write in Word. Whatever you use.
So whatever it is, right? Really cool, man. There's
Yeah.
so much things. How much does it cost to like set up a book, like to publish a bunch of books? For some people, the people kind of interested about that.
It depends on what you can draw. So I'm going to say that from almost no money to a couple $100, because there's two the most expensive parts are for a quality book is the cover. It has to grab right away because on a bookshelf, that's the first thing people see. So your cover has to be excellent. That being said, depends on what it is you're doing. There's there's a cover maker within KDP. So you may only need to buy some clip art, some image from Getty Images or something like that and use it. So you may only need to do that.
Yeah.
So you're buying it. The next piece is if you're a terrible writer, you need to get it edited. And depends on who you have in your tribe. Use your tribe as a first time author. Use your tribe to get it edited. And then once it's edited, send it out again to somebody different, somebody new to find out whether it flows and whether they agree with, like, not would agree with it, but whether they're finding flaws in the grammar and the tense and things like this. Because many people have really good grammatically correct writing friends. For my first book, I chose to hire an editor, and it was like $2,000. It's the best $2,000 that I spent because she showed me how to write the book and what it needed to look like. And then every other book after that, my wife edited.
Wow.
So those are the two most expensive pieces.
You could actually start your own
So
publishing
once
company.
you've got your cover, yes.
If you guys want to
Yep.
get your books published by Neil, just
And
send him a money transfer.
thank you. And so you've got your cover, and then the next most important piece is your back write-up. Doesn't matter what you put in these pages if no one picks up your book because of the cover and no one reads the back cover, because those are the pieces. Then after that, people, depends on who you are, people will pick up a book, read a few pages, and it could be anywhere in the book. That's where it counts. If you don't write good back cover copy,
Right.
your marketing copy is going to really suck. The other part, you want your tribe 100% in, 100% in, because you want them to promote the heck out of your book.
Yeah. You're so right. I want people to promote it and share it. You're right. That's a good point, man. Especially using your tribe. You actually said that a couple times, right? Of like tribe. You talked about it a couple times, how important your tribe is, right?
Absolutely. Like, no person in any endeavor is an island.
Yeah.
It's like
unless you're in
your
Australia.
program, Mission Driven Life, is only as good as. Yep.
There's a weird delay. There's a weird delay in this stream. There's something happening. Odd.
Yep.
All good. All good. No worries.
Yeah. So for the average person, they could do it for very little, and if that means they just have more of the legwork to do, they could spend more money. They also can buy publishing packages from Balboa Press, etc. There's other companies called Lightning Source that will work. And why I just went with KDP, kdp.amazon.com, as soon as you follow all of their processes and it's accepted, You hit publish, and it's on Amazon. Within 48 hours, you now have a published book on Amazon.
Hmm. I'm gonna take all this
And
advice, Neil, because I really think.
part of the process.
What?
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry. What were you saying?
No, you said you're going to take the advice and you really think whatever.
No, I was just really thinking about it because I really do want to take this, and I know like for any speaker or trainer, a book is your key. It's a key to like getting known, right? Getting known out there, right?
Yes. For me,
Yeah.
I've written 3 books that have gone international best-selling on Amazon in fiction. I am now following my own advice, and I am writing a nonfiction book called "The Chasing Success: The Trouble with Being Normal."
Yeah. Love it, man. I'm gonna buy that book. Let me get a pre-order.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing that you can do on Amazon as well. You can pre-order it. So you get your cover created, and then you can force deadlines on yourself. So if Kevin went on, created his cover of his book, and then said, okay, I need to be done by September, and then he put it so that he was taking pre-orders, dollars for donuts. I bet you Kevin would put a lot of effort into it, or more effort, once he started seeing people buy that darn book.
Yeah. That's like the greatest way to find if someone wants to read it, right? If someone's willing to give you money for it. Like that's a great like sign in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So what's next for Neil here? Like what's
Yep.
what's next in your mission here? I know you're writing a book, a nonfiction.
Actually, I'm writing 3 nonfictions, one nonfiction, 3 fiction books at the same time. And I'm pretty much relaunching my coaching business because I've taken a hiatus, and I really want to get out. Everyone has a purpose, and everyone needs to live a passionate and purpose-filled life.
Yeah. Everyone needs that, man. So many people need actually, yeah, people need that purpose, but who am I to tell what people need, right? Who am I to say what people need?
Yeah.
But you're right. You have a good point around that. Yeah.
And it's one of the few times I will step on my soapbox, and I will say that, Kevin, you need a mission, you need a purpose, and you need to live it passionately. And whether you take that and you just give me the big index finger or tell me to go to wherever, it doesn't matter. I think we all need to be told that we are worthy of following our dreams.
100%, man. I agree on that. I agree. But I wanted to thank you for giving me your time, Neil. I wanted to really appreciate you there for like, giving me a couple of minutes of your time, talking about books, talking about how to set up the book, right? What can
Oh,
we all
you're
do for
most
you
welcome.
here? What
Thank
can
you
we
for having me.
Yeah. What can we do to
Um,
support you here? What would the mission of your life do to help?
you can, if you want, you can uh, like me on Facebook, Neil Thrussel, or you can go to my writing page, neilthrussel.com. But equally as important, be kind to each other, be kind to another, and live your darn life to the fullest. take more risks, love more fully, and just be you, however you show up.
Great advice, Neil. Thank you so much for that. I know it's yeah, that's a good reminder for me. Take more risks, be more kind. Basically, the simple things, right? The simple things. I need that good reminder. Yeah.
We all
But I
do.
wanted
If
to
I
thank
if
you for
I
being
need something, there's a very good chance that somebody else.
yeah. That's so true.
Sorry, I interrupted.
And to everyone watching, I really no worries there, no worries. I want to thank everyone that's tuning in. That I know this is kind of a laggy conversation that we had. I'm gonna look into that here, and I want to find out why it's lagging. But I just really want to thank everyone, and keep that in mind when you're planning to write a book, or you want to write a book, or you want to get your book set up, or maybe you want to start sharing your mission, and maybe a book is one of the ways, right? A book is a great way to publish that. You could get an ebook, you can get a real book. There's so many different ways to share your mission, whether that's on a podcast, whether that's on live, and maybe it's public speaking. There's so many ways to share that, right? But I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. Thanks for being here. This is the Mission Driven Life. Any last words that you wanted to share with us, Neil?
Um, if you are doing a podcast, get the script from your podcast. Of all, yes, there is so much wealth of wisdom that every podcast has got. You've got a book of quotes and wisdom from based on your podcast. Out of 222 podcasts, Kevin, you've got more than one book full of wisdom there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just getting the whole transcription, right? If I got it transcribed or something, that's tons of value there, right? Transcribed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Mission Driven Life. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Neil Thrussel on Facebook at Neil Thrussel, or check out his Amazon. Grab his book. Go support his book. Grab The Warrior's Heart. You can find it on Amazon.ca. If you look up A Warrior's Heart, written by Neil Thrussel, you could grab his book there. And go support another entrepreneur who is sharing his mission with the world. Yeah. So yeah, thanks again, Neil.
Thank you.